Okay.
Technology should serve man. Man doesn't serve technology. But we're live with another episode of BS Busters, and I mean, we're talking about the Nintendo Direct. So before we go any further, I'm gonna have everyone introduce themselves, and we'll get into it.
Allow me then. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the BS Busters Movie Podcast. I'm Joey Lemon. And let's get right into the direct with our friends Kenoshi Abominito and Mr. Red Fox himself.
Kenoshi, introduce yourself.
This is Kenoshi Abominito here to say Mario Kart 9 is not coming for another 15 years.
Well, it's not going to come on this gaming device, and it shouldn't. Like Mario Kart should be once per generation. It shouldn't be on multiple. So I guess the Switch is just in a continuation of the Wii U, apparently, because we ain't getting a new Mario Kart on the Switch, and I'm okay with that. It's Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. This direct was originally going to be about other stuff, but I mean this podcast was originally going to be about other stuff because there's some other juicy stuff that happened this week. But I guess we'll cover that Saturday. So today we're talking all about Nintendo's Direct. I'm going to screen share a delightful article that essentially really kind of goes to bat for what that entails. And we'll dive into it. So I'll announce the game that was announced starting from the start all the way to the end. We'll give our thoughts on it. That individual game that was announced or announcement of whatever kind it was. And we'll get through all of it, and then we'll give our overall thoughts and our reasoning about what we learned. So the first thing they showed was the new Fire Emblem Warriors game.
That was disappointing. Just because
if you're a Fire Emblem fan, I mean, if you're a Dynasty Warriors fan, this is really up your alley.
For people who are hoping to see a new Fire Emblem game,
they're SOL.
They didn't get it. Yeah, SOL.
I mean, I didn't like that. I didn't like the Three Houses. I didn't like Fire Emblem Warriors before, and I don't like it now. So for me, this was kind of like, I don't give a shit. No, let me check my bag of fucks. Oh, no, I have no, it's empty. So yeah.
I thought you were going into the field for Fs.
No, it's completely my bag of Fs. No Fs given. I don't like Dynasty. There's only 4 Dynasty Warriors spin-off games I've liked. The first one was I liked the One Piece one, One Piece Red World, One Piece Red, which was kind of cool. I liked the 2 Fist of the North Star ones and the Berserk one. Aside from that, I have not really cared much for any of them. Even the Dragon Quest one, and I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan. I didn't like that game. It was too repetitive. So yeah, I mean, interesting announcement. That's kind of an interesting thing to open up with, but I kind of was not giving a shit about it. But I'm sure there are people who like those Dynasty Warriors games. So for you, there you go. Kenoshi, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of these Warriors games. I don't really care either.
Okay.
And that makes 3 of us then.
We're united. The 3 houses are united in not giving a shit about the Dynasty Warriors Fire Emblem spinoff. See, even those of us who disagree vehemently on things can agree that we don't give a shit about that game. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, made by Way Forward, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Has been announced for an April 8th release date, so that's just 2 months away. And it's a full remake of the original GBA games, and it will feature modern classics and a fully voiced cast. So Sergeant Andy is back!
So the only thing that I think that's going to be a negative is how many ships are going to be broken of of what some people think of the voices in their heads when hearing these characters.
I think you can turn off the voice acting. I'm
Mm.
pretty sure they'll give you that option in the option menu, which is cool because I prefer not having to listen to voice acting. Um, yeah, I mean, I was looking for. I'm glad Nintendo's actually taking Advance Wars seriously because that was a pretty good series before Intelligent Systems just kind of abandoned it after the game they did for the Advance World of Ruin or Ruin Advance Wars World of Ruin or whatever it was called, that Dawn of Ruin, something like that. That game didn't do all that well, but yeah, if this does well, they might bring that franchise back because Advance Wars is actually pretty damn good. I even liked the GameCube game that was live action. So what are your guys' thoughts on it? Yay, nay?
Excited to see how it turns out. And if anybody's wondering, pre-orders are today for that game.
I don't think anyone cares about the pre-order. Like anyone who really wants this, they're going to pre-order whatever the fuck we talk about. I don't think anyone cares. Next we have No Man's Sky.
Oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah, we're getting No Man's Sky. Well, you know what? It's great that they're bringing that the Switch is getting the triple second is getting not slappy seconds, but triple tries because this thing has been out on everything. All the bugs are out of it. It's now stable, so you get a really good version of this game. The only downside is that it's gonna look like shit, which it's not a great looking game anyway. So. But it's gonna, and I don't know how well it's gonna run. Like, if this is running natively, it probably is not gonna run that well. So you might not want it on the Switch. But if you have to play No Man's Sky, here you go. Kanoshi, thoughts?
Yeah. If I'm gonna get this game, I'm just gonna get it on PC. I mean, it's cool that it's on the Switch for people who only own a Switch and nothing else. But yeah, if you have a PC. I mean, if your progression is cross-platform, that'll be nice, I guess. But other than that, I don't really care. I mean, No Man's Sky, after all the fixes, looks a lot more interesting now.
But it's still not something that I would really.
It's not
go out of my way to get.
For the price, it's still not there for me yet.
Yeah. Plus, aren't they charging like $60 for it?
Yeah, they're still charging. Even on Steam, they're still charging $60 for this game.
Oh, fuck that game.
Sometimes it goes on sale, but it's only
yeah, but it's not
$76.
Yeah, I mean, for what it is, like there's no real story mode. The game takes a while to get started. It's kind of grindy. It takes a special person to like No Man's Sky. A special type of gamer, and I readily admit I'm not that type of gamer. Next little bit of information. Mario Strikers Battle League. So
I kind of foresaw this, which is weird, because I remember I was saying that one of the games that should be brought back is at least the Striker series, or at least one of the sports games anyways.
Well, I mean, they needed something. So Mario Strikers Battle League brings back the Mario and Soccer remix game, first released on the GameCube. The new game will feature more of the wackiness of the original. This offense-heavy 5-on-5 soccer game will add more customization options for players and has some interesting goal mechanics. 8 players can compete on one system, and there will be online play as well. Oh boy, that's going to be tough. Players can create clubs with 20 players per club. Clubs can compete to be the best in the world. So, for those of you who really
interesting. I'm going to say it right now.
Yeah, that was the game that was one of the games I was most interested in. They showed off. I always found the Strikers game interesting, but
yeah. Like if I went to someone's house and they had it, I would play it if they offered, but I wouldn't go out of my way to play Mario Strikers. But then again, I don't really like a lot of I never liked the console Nintendo sports games. I liked the handheld ones that were more RPG-ish. So I mean, if you're one of those people, then this is for you. You're gonna enjoy
I'm gonna
this.
say this right now. This may actually be something a little more near your alley, since they actually got customizables for the players.
I mean, I'm not against that. I'm just simply saying that me personally, I never liked the home console versions of their sports games. So for those people who aren't like me, who like those types of more arcadey sports games, this is for you. I'm a little bit iffy. I'm not sold on the online because Nintendo's online is kind of crap.
Not very good.
It's not very good. So I'm not really like, I mean, there like a lot of games on here are very online centric, and I'm like, are you sure you really want to? Are you sure you really want to play this online? Are you positive? Do you want to take that hit? Okay. I mean, it's your $50. I mean, your $20 to $50 a year. The next game they showed was more Splatoon 2. They showed off the new Salmon Run, which is...
you mean 3?
Well, yeah, they showed off the new Salmon Run stuff, which is kind of interesting. Disclosure, I didn't see the first 9 minutes of this. I came in towards the middle, near the end of the Salmon Run stuff, but it looked interesting. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's interesting how they've really kind of...
there's some
more mechanics
stuff into it to worry about while you're
like you can pick up the eggs and you can throw them to people so they can catch them and then put them in the goal and shit. That's kind of cool.
Or try to do Michael Jordan and send the egg into the net.
Yeah, you can throw them into the net. I mean, it's all kind of cool. Looks kind of cool. Splatoon 3 looks interesting. I'll need to see more before I invest in it. But it looks good. I mean, but Splatoon has always looked good. Even Splatoon 2 looked good. So that's not really like it's expected to look good. So yeah.
And it's coming. If anybody's wondering, it's coming summer 2022. Yeah.
Sometime in summer 2022. We don't know exactly when. The next game was announced. This is from Nintendo, but it's an old Square Enix property is being brought back, and that old Square Enix property is Front Mission. Now, for those of you who don't know, Front Mission is a tactical RPG where you pilot these giant mechs called Vonzers, and you go around attacking other mechs and clearing objectives on maps. But between doing these missions on the maps, you can fight in arenas and earn money and do other side missions and shit. It's a really good little like sci-fi RPG, tactical RPG thing that's I personally really like the first 3 games in the series. So the fact that they're remaking the first game and the second game, hopefully if these do well, they'll remake Gun Hazard, because Gun Hazard's fucking amazing.
I was gonna say Front Mission is giving me the feeling of Warhammer.
It has nothing to do with Warhammer.
or the stuff, or one of those mech heavy games where you have to worry about each detail with D&D styles.
Well, it does have something like BattleTech. It does kind of.
That's what I was thinking.
It does kind of have a lot of those aspects, but it's kind of dumbed down, so it's not as esoteric. But yeah, when I heard this was a high point for me. I was like, oh wow, Square Enix is actually fucking doing something with that old ass property. Aside from that, that god awful Left Alive bullshit they did last year. That was terrible. Ooh. Terrible Front Mission Left Alive game.
Front Mission 2 is coming as well.
Well, they announced that they're also doing that remake, but until I see footage of it, I'm just gonna say that's a teaser. I'm guessing that that's not going to be made unless this game sells well. Okay, so the creators of the Asphalt series, Gameloft, are bringing a new kart racing game featuring Disney and Pixar characters. It looks like a fusion between Diddy Kong Racing and Sonic Racing Transformed. That's what it looks like.
I was excited until they said free to play.
Yeah, when they said free to play, I was like, my enthusiasm just kind of ebbed and skeeted out of me. It's like, I'm gonna go home.
I'm just laughing my rear end off with this.
Yeah, free to play just kind of
I actually am hearing the free to play and cross platform, no less.
Well, cross-platform doesn't bother me because if a game is big enough, it's going to be cross-platform. That actually makes it more interesting. But the free-to-play aspect, I'm like, well, how are they making money? And it's going to be microtransactions. So, fuck it. I'm not playing it. Looks interesting, but no. And then they showed off a port of Star Wars The Force Unleashed, but it's a port of the Wii version, so... like, it already looks really bad, and it's gonna look even worse.
Your mileage may vary.
Well, I mean, the Wii port of Force Unleashed it looked like a really badly optimized GameCube game. Because the thing is, a lot of people like to say, oh, the GameCube didn't have good graphics, but a lot of the games on the GameCube that were optimized for the GameCube looked way better than anything that was on the PlayStation. So... but Force Unleashed on the Wii was not optimized for the Wii, so it looked kind of jank. And I hope this trailer is not evidence of how it's going to look on the Switch, because this is a 9th gen system, and you know, I wouldn't pay $60 for a game that looked like that. And if it looks like that, and it's also the frame rate isn't steady, and it's an action game, so reflexes matter. The frame rate isn't steady, and it's like not like running very well, then I wouldn't get it. I don't like the Force Unleashed anyway, but it's looks kind of shit to me. But that's my own personal opinion. The Ezio Assassin's Creed Trilogy is being ported over to the Nintendo Switch. That actually looks kind of interesting, because I've always heard from people who are fans of Assassin's Creed that the Ezio trilogy is like the best of the OG original Assassin's Creed trilogy. So
that's pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah. It doesn't look great, but I mean, if you've never played that, you can get all of those games plus 2 movies and some other side games, I think, with it for like $60. That's a pretty good deal.
That's about $10 per piece of it.
More than that, because think about the base games are probably like $20, and then you get all this extra stuff. That's a lot of bang for your buck. So I'll give. Normally, I'm the first person to say Ubisoft sucks, but that's a really good deal. So, you know.
Yeah, I agree. It's just that I think I was counting the base games and the movies if they stuffed them in there too.
Yeah, but you have to think of it like this: the base game plus all the extra bennies, and you're getting all the extra bennies and stuff. So those are like 20. And you get 3 games, so that's 20. Plus, you're getting the movies and all the other extra shit that's coming with it. So that's over $60 of value. So that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent price.
Okay.
Then they did SD Gundam Battle Alliance. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of underwhelmed by it.
I'm kind of mixed because. I'm mixed since it looks pretty neat, but I am not feeling. But I didn't get a chance to get an idea of how the gameplay feels, so I'm gonna have to hold.
Yeah, I played a game like this on PC, and I mean, I wasn't really overwhelmed with it, but you know, if you're a Gundam fan and you know you're not getting a lot of Gundam games, then this might be up your alley. I'm not going out of my way for it, but to each his own.
And I can hear what's coming next. Here comes the sodium. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, introducing Chrono Cross Plus Radical Dreamers.
Yeah, I've played Radical Dreamers. I played the ROM of it back in the day with a fan translation. So I've played that game. It was okay. It's like an adventure game where you like choose where you're gonna go and stuff. It was originally on the Satellaview, and now you're getting a nice port of it, so I guess that's cool. It's got Chrono Cross, which I fucking hate. I hate that game.
Yeah, what? Everybody, who was asking for this? Who really wanted this?
I mean, it's. I mean, I guess there's a dedicated fan base for Chrono Cross. I'm not one of those people. I hate that game, but I mean, if you absolutely have to play an inferior sequel to one of the best RPGs ever made, this isn't. I mean, you're getting value. You're getting value because you're getting two games, one of which was never brought over unless you played it through illicit means like me back in the day. So yeah, the game looks better than it ever did on the PlayStation. So congratulations, Square Enix. You made an old ass game look slightly better than it ever did back in the day. Kudos. If you can tell, I'm being facetious and sarcastic.
I was about to say, yeah, your sarcasm is mixing in with sodium.
No. Salt is where you feel you're angry or jealous or begrudging. I'm not grudgeful because I don't like the game. I've never liked Chrono Cross. When it was announced, I was like, "Oh, this sounds cool," and then I went to a friend's house and I played it. I'm like, "This is shit. This doesn't like Chrono Trigger gives you this epic feeling. Chrono Cross just feels like they were trying so hard to nail that same feeling, and it just doesn't. It doesn't hit those same highs."
Yeah.
If you want to play what a real Chrono Trigger sequel would feel like if the team had a really small budget, go play Radiant Historia. that's the closest you're gonna get to a Chrono Trigger sequel, because Chrono Cross ain't it.
It's funny that we both thought that.
Yeah, because Radiant Historia really does have that same kind of dimensions and alternate timelines thing going on, but it's executed so much better than what they do in Chrono Cross. Then they showed off more Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
They actually showed some more bosses. They showed the development of what happens when you do some rescues.
Yeah. So it looks like they're taking a lot of cues from Mario 64 or like in terms of like, but instead of stars, you're collecting Waddle Dees. Sorry, Waddle Doos.
All these.
And Waddle Dees, and you bring them back to town, and they build it up and unlock new shit for you to get better or something. It looks interesting. The ability for you to basically upgrade your copy abilities is kind of cool. The one thing that kind of was off-putting for me, and it was just aesthetically and also kind of against the lore of Kirby, is Kirby not being able to inhale ultra large objects where it's just kind of stuck in his mouth. I was like, that's kind of stupid. But
yeah, that was kind of.
I was gonna say those are some weird powers. If you're calling those mouthful moves, they can't even swallow.
Yeah, it looks weird because Kirby's swallowed bigger things than these, and that's just kind of weird. Like, it would have made sense for them to make them into just like limited specialized transformations that he can only use in certain areas. That would have made more sense than like it's stuck in his mouth, because we've seen Kirby inhale all shit bigger than this, so that's just kind of weird to me. But
I was gonna make the joke that he inhaled trees, he inhaled buildings.
Well, it's not really a joke. He's done that in other games. It's weird that like they've basically like they've
his power back.
They've disregarded the rules that they created in their own universe, and that's where I have a problem. But I mean, overall, I'm looking forward to this game. It comes out next month, so hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah.
Then they showed off.
Though it's going to be at the end of the month.
Yeah, but still, people. It's March 25th, but Then they showed off MLB The Show 22 on the Switch. This was surprising to me because that used to be a PlayStation exclusive. Yeah. I wonder how much Nintendo paid to get that ported over to the Switch. Because that is just weird to me. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, how the fuck is that? How is that? Okay. It looks like shit, though. So.
Oh, yeah, it runs terribly.
It looks like.
I was going to make the joke. Is it WWE kind of bad, or?
Oh no, MLB The Show is like a baseball simulator, so having really good graphics is actually something that when you have a simulator, a simulation game, a simulation sports game, that actually matters. So the fact that it looks like shit on the Switch is not really surprising.
I would have said, they're probably better off with a cloud version of that game.
It probably would have been better with a cloud version of that game, but I mean, then you'd have to be connected to the internet all the time in a high-speed internet connection, not just some basic shit. So it was kind of like damned if they do, damned if they don't. But there needs to be more sports games on the system of quality, because that shit that EA puts on there is just not up to snuff. So I mean, it's good that it's there, but it looks like ass.
Reason why I was feeling Mario Strikers more than what this came out with to be.
Well, Mario Striker. The thing is like I think that the fact that this is probably a port, it looks kind of and like they did the best they could with the hardware, but the hardware is like 7 years old, so like you can only do so much with 7-year-old hardware. So we get another game that they announced already, which is the cloud-based version of Kingdom Hearts Collection. So instead of sorry, go ahead, Kenoshi.
That's available tomorrow.
That's a sore spot right there.
So instead of porting the trilogy, instead of porting the first two games that they released on the PS3, which if you said, okay, we're going to port the versions that we created for the PS4 and the Xbox One and PC to the Switch, okay, I can understand the problem. But I know the Switch is more capable than the PS3, so why not port that version over to the Switch? But it's Square Enix, so sense doesn't parlay, it doesn't go into that equation. So you're getting a cloud-based version of the game that you can only play over the internet. So if you don't have the internet, don't get this fucking game. For good news, though, Klonoa, the two Klonoa games, you get the first two Klonoa games are also coming to the Switch. That's worth getting because you get two games, and Klonoa is fucking awesome. So,
I fully agree there.
Yeah, and you're also getting Portal, Portal 1 and Portal 2.
Aperture Science.
Yeah. So you get those two games ported over to the
oh god,
to the Switch.
Yeah, and now that song's stuck in my head.
And I guess that's cool. Portal 1 and Portal 2 are really good games.
Anybody wondering?
Go ahead, say what you want to say, Jewel.
I was saying that I have heard that there's plenty of good stuff in Aperture Science, though it's kind of weird when you go into its depths.
Yeah. Portal 1 and Portal 2 are really great games, and it's nice that they're being ported over to the Switch. And the games look pretty cool, but Portal 1 and Portal 2 have always had a very kind of a
polished look.
They had a kind of a pseudo simplistic art style, so they're not going to look like shit on the Switch. So there you go, close to a PC port, and they're going to look pretty good. Next game, a 2D HD version of a game that I played back in the day. Downloaded the ROM, the patched ROM, and played through it. Live Alive.
And this is all the way back from the NES era, mind you.
No, SNES. Even though it looks like a NES, certain like if you played the original the original SNES version of Live Alive, it looks like an early SNES game where a lot of the early SNES games looked like really nice NES games. Yeah, it kind of looked like that. But Live Alive actually is one of my favorite little RPG It's one of my favorite like Final Fantasy Square Enix Squaresoft RPGs from back in the day, and they brought it back. And not only did they bring it back, it's a 2D HD. They put it in that 2D HD engine, so it looks even better. And the cool thing to realize about Live Alive is that it takes a lot of shit that was popular at the time, and it basically makes an RPG where you play as all those characters. So it has like a scenario where it's basically Akira. It has a scenario that's basically like you're a ninja who has to fight his way through a castle filled with demons and shit. It has one that's that's more like a kung fu epic, all that type of shit. So it's really
It goes through all kinds of categories.
yeah, and it's you're jumping through each of these scenarios is set in a different time period, so it's all kind of interesting. I know they're probably going to fuck up the translation where they don't keep because the cool thing about the prehistoric era is that the main character, is that he's got to save this girl from an evil Tyrannosaurus Rex, and at the end they go in the cave and fuck. Like that's the big thing. They took that out of this probably, which kind of sucks. Censorship. But overall, it's a really good RPG. It's hard. It has that saga thing where like the stronger you get, the stronger the enemies get. So grinding actually is counterintuitive. You shouldn't really grind all that much. Yeah, you shouldn't really grind that much in Live Alive, which kind of goes against most RPG conventions. But if you can get past that, it's pretty good. I will probably, if it comes to PC, I'll probably get this on PC and cheat my ass off because I've played the original version and I don't want to grind I don't want to deal with the frustration of trying to play that game again. Like without having the option to cheat my ass off. Kenoshi, you have any thoughts about Live Alive, or shall we move on to?
Pretty,
go ahead.
Pretty cool. I like this trend of bringing on games that never came to the States. And it looks like Square is just Square Enix is a weird company. Like,
yeah, they're like two steps forward, one step back.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
You know, hey, you're bringing back Front Mission. Cool. Live Alive. Awesome. A fucking cloud-based version of Kingdom Hearts? What?
Chrono Cross? Who asked for this?
Well, I mean, the thing is that there is a dedicated fan base for Chrono Cross, but like a cloud-based version of Kingdom Hearts? Who asked for that? Like, whatever. Next we come to the first thing where I was like, what the fuck? They're bringing back Wii Sports. They're calling it Nintendo Switch Sports. It's only got...
and I'm going to say this right now. It's weird, but it kind of is not bad.
It's only got 6 sports in it.
If I look at it, I think there's bowling, there's going to be volleyball, there's going to be fencing.
It's only got 6 sports in it. It's mixing boxing. Wii Sports Boxing was fucking awesome. It's not there. The soccer looks a little bit too over-involved for what you're doing. But tennis, bowling, sword fighting, cool. Badminton, it's basically the same thing as tennis. Volleyball looks really fun. And I mean, there's local and online play. And
which is gonna be interesting, and you're gonna need plenty of room for all those physical challengers.
I'm gonna tell you right now, that online play is gonna be a fucking mess. It's gonna be a goddamn mess. It's gonna be, oh boy, they're opening it up February 18th to 20th. Ooh boy, you're gonna pay $20 to $50 a year for that shit. No, you can have it. And I mean, I'll probably get this because I love Wii Sports. But this is gonna be a mess. That online's gonna be a mess. I would not play this game online. It would be local or nothing at all. But that's my own personal opinion. I'll let you give your thoughts, Jewel, and then Kenoshi can give his thoughts. Go ahead, Joel.
To be honest with you, I actually was wondering when this would be when something like this would be coming out, because if anything, it should feel like it should be showing off what the Switch could do a little bit. And while I think that it's better late than never, it should have been here a little bit quicker.
Yeah, this should have been a launch title for the system.
That's the only gripe. That's the only gripe I feel like, in a
Yeah,
sense.
this should have been a launch title for the system, and it should have come out. If not a launch title, it should have come out within the first year. The fact that they're releasing it now, that you're like 5 years into the system's life cycle, is just like, what?
Yeah, that is weird. I will agree with you on that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's odd. I'm not hating this. I mean, seriously, it's at least something interesting.
No, it's a what the fuck was going on? Like, did someone fall asleep at the helm? Because like Wii Sports was a huge phenomenon. It was like a system. Like literally, there were people who got a Wii just for Wii Sports.
I think it was just some sort of nervous spurginess pertaining to Wii Sports. They didn't want to think that the Switch was just going to be another Wii, so that's probably why they didn't really. I'm not saying it's smart. I'm just saying that was probably some marketing reason or of ration. That was probably part of the rationality.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying it's like because like even people like Wii Sports got so many people into um into the Nintendo ecosystem. Um and you know, it's like for people to be like, "Oh, well, you know, we're just gonna kind of like," for them to be 5 years into the life cycle of a console that's selling gangbusters, for there not to be a Wii Sports is just weird.
Yeah.
That's just really freaking weird. But you know, to each his own. Um, you know, and also, you know, they announced that they're going to add online. I'm like, like, am I the only one who remembers playing Splatoon 2 and having moments where, like during Salmon Run in the main game, where people would drop out and like you'd lose the match, and that's for like one of their major games for the system. So if the online's not running that well in that game, like for Splatoon, like I don't want to know what it's like for something where you kind of need quick twitch reflexes, like you know, Wii Sports, which I guess that's why they don't have boxing, because you really do need to be able to react really quickly if you're boxing, you know, over a video game.
I'm sorry. I'm not feeling what you guys are with all that online callouts. I just really don't at this point.
All right.
Especially since been there's been very few disconnections with me.
I have had the opposite of that. I've had like a lot of the games that are the only game that I've played on the Switch where the online didn't feel like it was not running very well. The only game where I was like, oh, this is running properly was I went to a friend's house, played Mario Kart 8, and I didn't really have a lot of drop matches or anything like that. Or if it was like they have like a bot that picked up, or you know, they knew how to really run it very well. But Splatoon, I can't tell you the amount of times I put Splatoon 2 where like I'd be playing Splatoon 2 and a match would come on and it'd be 4v4, and then like two people would drop out and it's just two people playing, and it's like, oh, we're gonna lose this match because we lost two people and they still have four. Or I'm playing Salmon Run and someone like it's four people in Salmon Run and a person drops out, so you only got three, and it's like, fuck. Like I don't trust their online. I do not trust Nintendo's online, and I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't. I don't trust it on games that are very like they're like we're gonna have this online component, and I'm like I don't trust it.
The only time I ever feel that way with you in this is with, of all things, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
No, I had Super Smash Brothers Ultimate for like a year, and I was like, I'm not really enjoying this game that much, so I gave it to a friend of mine. But
Yeah. All
I
because of your first player bias.
no, I prefer like I
I
liked
call it.
I liked the more single player centric content that they had and how it was structured in past games, and they didn't have that in this game. So I was
That's
like,
right.
okay, and I have that right.
I
Like
call it.
everyone has the right to like a product for the reasons they like it. I didn't like that, so that's my choice.
Yeah.
But
The thing is, I feel like it's an overall all thing that is Super Smash Bros. Not just the
I mean,
single player.
you're correct, but I mean, it depends on what you put value on. I like since I play a lot of my games in single player, I like games that have single player components. And if the single player isn't really scratching that itch for me, then I have the right as someone who plays a lot of my games single player to be like, doesn't really interest me. The online multiplayer I did play as Smash Brothers was okay. I wasn't. I'm not gonna say it's the best online multiplayer I've ever had, but then again, you have to remember, I think they really nailed online multiplayer for Smash Brothers with Smash 4. And really, if they just kept that, that would have been good enough. Like, I don't know why they had to add all this weird shit for the fifth game, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, like they're trying to have they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're having a lot of stuff where I'm like, okay, like you're gonna have online for this, but I don't really think the online's gonna work all that well.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Yeah.
they might put enough money into their online infrastructure where it'll be good, or at least stable enough where people, because they say, well, we're doing an online test, and I'm like, well, hopefully this online test will expose the flaws that they need to fix for when this game fully launches. But like, this is a sports game where quick twitch reflexes matter, and if you're trying to play that, and it's like the online is what it's been over the last like 4 years, 5 years. This is not going to be a fun experience online. Now, local, it's probably going to be great. If you have a family where you have like nieces and nephews and like little kids and stuff like that, or you know, like you have a roommate or a significant other, this is going to be great. But for people who just are kind of like, you know, just playing a game, I'm not over enthused, but that's my own personal opinion. Let's keep it moving. I think we've belabored that point enough. Let's see, we did Switch. Okay, Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival is coming to the Switch. I was kind of happy about this because I do like Taiko no Tatsujin. One of my establishments, I have the arcade game. I imported that with like a 200% markup because Japan passed laws the year I imported it where they fucking make it really expensive to bring games out. But Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm, really great game. I'm glad they're bringing it over, and I was really happy until they said they're doing a subscription service for more songs, and I was like, "Fuck that!"
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
And I was like, no.
I was going to say, if anything, this is at least something to think about. Like, if you enjoy the other songs that are on there already, if you're tempted to, at least you could look at what songs they offer before you think of even subbing or trying to buy them outright.
I mean, I'm not the thing is like I'm someone who likes Taiko no Tatsujin. I played the original arcade games back in the day when I used to visit Japan on business, and I mean I like the Taiko no Tatsujin games. They're fun. They're easy to get into, hard to master. Like they're a quintessential game, but fuck. I mean, why do you have a subscription? I'd rather you just do a season pass for the extra songs. Like, why do people have to pay a subscription service for more songs? That's just that's asinine. But you know, it is what it is. I hate to say that. Let me take that back. Let me rewind that. That's the reality of the circumstance. Nintendo gave us an update on Triangle Strategy. The 2D HD game is going to have an updated demo, which is cool, and you can transfer your save data. So the name still sucks, but I'm really excited for the game. That's all I'll say on that. You guys have any thoughts on that information dump they had?
I might be getting that.
Triangle Strategy? Yeah, it looks cool. Like, I'm not against Triangle Strategy, but that name is fucking terrible.
It's good. It's just they're not very. Whoever creates these games aren't very good at naming their games.
Now, Octopath Traveler made sense because there were 8 playable characters, and each of the letter of their first name made up it made up the name Octopath. Yeah, made sense, but
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's how they came up with the name because 8 characters, and then they took I mean, it's cool. But Triangle Strategy, it's like, well, shit. Why don't we make a game called the game is called half circle stratagem. Like, it's just like, come on, man.
Your naming conventions is worse than Square Enix's.
No, that's the same shit. Half circle stratagem is just as valid as Triangle Strategy. It's half circle stratagem. It's hypotenuse gambit. It's quadratic equation looking for a synonym for strategy. Maneuver. It's the quadratic equation maneuver. It's like, come on, man. That's a stupid ass name. I mean, the game. Look, listen. This studio has proven that they know how to make good RPGs. So, I mean, even though we're kind of laughing about the name, we know the game's going to be pretty damn good. So, I mean, we don't have to worry about that. It's like back in the day,
at least it's more the Enix side in a sense than the Square part.
No, this is a team that's always been at SquareSoft. It always been at SquareSoft and now Square Enix. It's just they adhere more to the old school style of making games. So I give kudos. I'm not gonna, even though I don't like a lot of the current output of Square Enix, when there are good people making a good studio, they're making good games, I can't be like, well, fuck them. So next we have Cuphead. Is finally showing off its DLC. They tried to make it seem like it's only coming to the Switch. It's coming to everything. It's Cuphead. It's more balls to a ball punishingly difficulty. They brought back Miss Chalice, so that's going to be cool. Yeah. More Cuphead is always good.
So drink up all that dodging goodness.
When's that cartoon coming out?
It's supposed to come out in a few weeks, I think.
Yeah.
I know it's on Netflix. That's all I remember. But it's supposed to come out in a little bit. It's going to be soon. Soon. But yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to lie. I really am looking forward to it. Cuphead is really freaking good, so, Your thoughts on Cuphead, Joel?
This is going to be real entertaining and fun, though. I'm going to wonder how they're going to get past some of the censors with some of their crass humor.
What, Cuphead? I don't really think Cuphead had crass humor.
I mean, you know what kind of tunes this is based off of, right?
Yeah, it's based off of stuff like Popeye and Betty Boop, but it doesn't have that same level of vulgarity or racist overtones as Popeye and Betty Boop. It never did. So I don't know where you're getting crass sense of humor from.
Okay, got that feel. It just has feel. It just I got a feeling that they might try to add something in to try to reference it. Though I'm not sure if there's going to be much or
Yeah,
any at all.
I don't. I still don't see where you're getting that from. The most dirty thing they did is that in the first game, Mr. Dice is basically looks like he's a ripoff of Cab Calloway, a cartoonized version of Cab Calloway who did Minnie the Moocher from back in the day. But I mean, that's not really like
I'm
dirty or anything. I don't.
I'm always thinking. I'm logically thinking a little hard here.
I think you are. I think you're looking a little bit too deep on this one thing. Next, we have Metroid Dread is getting a free update later on today. So they're adding a new Dread mode, which is
update.
yeah. Well, I'm going through both of them, but I'm doing the first one first. So the first update is the update's adding two things. The first part of it is you're getting a new Dread mode, which is kind of like an ultra hard mode, which is one hit kill feature, which it takes an already hard game, makes it harder. So, if you like ball crushing difficulty, there you go. They're adding a boss rush mode later on.
Yeah.
Which is going to come, 2 months from now. So
combine Dread mode with boss rush, and I can only see how much of a beep that you guys are going to be dealing with when trying to take on those things.
Well, I mean, I didn't get this game, so I was like, but for those of you who really like it, good for you. My only thing is, why didn't they have this at the start? Like, why add it like after the game sold? But whatever.
At least you don't have to pay for it, I guess. That's
I mean, at least they aren't tying it to the fucking $50 online. Speaking of the online, that's a nice segue. Nintendo Switch Onlines once again are getting games that Nintendo had already on their online on their last system, but now you have to pay to rent them. It's Earthbound and Earthbound Zero, aka Earthbound Beginnings. So both those games came to the Nintendo Switch Online for the SNES and NES libraries. So you can play Earthbound, which I'm okay with because I like those two games. They are awesome. I think I personally prefer Earthbound more than Earthbound Zero or the first game. The first game feels like a prototype for Earthbound. Like it's like a lot of the character models, like the main character in the first Mother is called Nestor. Like it's like all the characters feel like prototypes for what you got in Earthbound in Mother 2 or Earthbound here in America. But I mean, they're good. They're good. They're good games. So there you go, folks. You can rent them, $20 a year. Your guys' thoughts on the Earthbound announcement? Like, yay, nay, don't care, do care.
I don't know. I'll just pick it up on the one of the older consoles, like the
SNES Classic.
I mean, I have the SNES Classic, and I also have it on the Wii U. So
I have the original, so I don't feel comfortable paying $20 to rent those two games when I could own them. It's just kind of like I don't feel comfortable with that, especially considering that Earthbound physically is a very rare game. It's very expensive. Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8, folks. That game that has sold gangbusters. It was one of the highest selling games on the Wii U. And now it's one of the highest selling games on the Switch. But Nintendo decided to throw you guys a freaking bone here. And for $25, you can get access to a whole bunch of tracks. Or if you're willing to pay $50 to Nintendo's online, to the premium tier of Nintendo's online service, you can rent this content for $50 a year, folks. So you can either buy it for $25 or you can rent it for $50 a year. The choice is yours, folks.
This is the only thing that really rubs me the wrong way. And Red, I'll get on your case all day about the Nintendo Switch Online service. But this is something I will fully agree on with something that shouldn't be on the Nintendo Online service at all. Seriously, this is something that hasn't been updated for years. That likely would have been alright if it was just a DLC, but no. Oh, fudge you know! This is now part of the online subscription along with the Animal Crossing one, and the Sega one, and the N64 one.
Well, you know they need that.
Oh, sorry.
They need that recurring transaction model, but they get you twice because, for people who are like, yeah, I'll just pay $50 a year and get it. You're paying for an online that is not all that good, and if you pay for the $25, you're paying $25, which $25 is the better deal because you're paying $25 and you get all the content, but you're paying $25 for an old ass. You're paying for $25. Like if you got this at full price when it first came out, you paid $60. Then you paid another $25. I mean, it's essentially Nintendo double dipping in their customer base. Business wise, it's a great move, but it's just really scummy, in my opinion. Like I'm not like, oh, this is great, yo. I'm like, this is fucking foul.
I'm saying that this should have been not tied to Nintendo Switch Online at fucking all. And if anything, the $25 is at least more bearable, but still is kind of a bite to your wallet. Or
yeah, but you get to own
because
you get
there's
48
it's 8 tracks for it's 8 tracks for it's 48 tracks in sets of 8 for at least the rest of 2020.
Yeah, but the thing is that if you pay $25, you own those. Like the Nintendo Online is like you're renting the tracks because if you stop paying the online, like if you run into financial hardships, like I can't afford to pay $50 a year for this thing, you lose access to that stuff. So you're renting the content. You don't own it. If you pay $25, you own it. You're not renting it. So that's the better deal.
Yeah, that's the reason why I said. That's the reason why I said that this should not have been attached to Nintendo Online service.
Yeah, I agree, but Nintendo, they're a business. They're trying to get that recurring transaction model. They want you to keep on spending money.
I mean, it's tricky enough to work with the 20, so 50 is not even worth. Is not worth it.
No, the 50, like okay, if they were charging you $50 and they had access, like they had the same amount of games that they had back during the Wii era between the multiple consoles, which it was 473 games. If you paid $50 and they said you're getting access to 473 retro titles from the N64 down to like the TurboGrafx 16 and arcade games, $50 would be a wonderful deal. What you're getting for $50 now is just not worth the price. It's not worth it. And
the reason why I'm not even going that high at all.
I mean, $20 really for what they have in the Nintendo. $20 for what they have in the Nintendo Online library for the NES and the SNES on both is kind of like I'm kind of underwhelmed. Because I mean I'm comparing it to what they had before. I'm looking at the amount of games they had for the NES before, and I'm looking at what they had for the SNES before, when you could buy them a la carte and download them and play them whenever the fuck you wanted, and you weren't renting them, and they weren't tied to an online subscription. I was like, this isn't really $20 is more palatable, but that's not really a great deal either. But it's better than paying $50 for what you're getting now, which is embarrassing if you're paying $50 a year for it. But that's my own personal opinion. Yeah, I just feel that it's kind of like, You know, I feel that they're just kind of taking advantage of their fan base at this point, but that's my own personal opinion, and I know some people will disagree, and that's their opinion. Yeah, but yeah, the you know, the fact that they're basically extorting people. It's like, yeah, you can pay $25 and own these tracks, this content, or you can pay us $50 a year and rent them. I mean, it's. I mean, come on, man. You know, it's like.
Reason why, if anything, this is the reason why I know not to go to the higher tiers, because it's all, because if anything, I saw what we are getting already, and if anything, as much as I say that $20 is an okay deal, even if it's annoying as F, $50 I know this is not.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree. I think even at 20, it's not really optimal, but you can you can bear to lose 20. It's like $20 a year. That's not that bad. You know, I know that the online isn't great and the game selection might not be the best in the world, but you can kind of $20. You can kind of, you know, because $20 is if you go to the movies and get one of the cheaper snacks. That's a ticket in a movie. So that's not that bad. That's a ticket and a snack. But $50, it's really not worth it. Especially for what they're offering. It's like this is really like I'm kind of getting the shorter. You're kind of getting the shorter end of the stick at 20, but it's not as painful. $50, it's really like this is no. But then they ended it out with something that we weren't really, that I don't think anyone was surprised with, which is
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So yeah. I kind of was underwhelmed by this, but I didn't like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 all that much. I thought it kind of sucked, but that's my own personal opinion. So yeah.
I thought it looked a lot more stable than when they first showed Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, but I don't think that was running on the base hardware. Like I have no like. Here's the thing: until I see that game running on a Switch, because I'm one of those people who was burned by Xenoblade Chronicles 2, like having that game run and me crashing, and the game crashing on me, and like me fast traveling to an area and the game struggling to load assets. Like I mean, I will say this much. Now this is just from the trailer. It looks like this game actually has your characters being able to wear different outfits compared to what you had in the second game, where like everyone like the characters were just wearing whatever the hell they were assigned.
RPG. I was going to say that was basically RPG clothing, where the stats are equipped to you, but your attire doesn't show it.
Yeah. And the sad thing about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is that Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii, which ostensibly is a much weaker console than the Switch on paper. The Wii had like if you equipped items to certain characters, that actually changed how they looked. So how the hell did they go backwards with Xenoblade Chronicles 2? Where you're just wearing shit and it does nothing. I'm like,
I honestly think that game
was rushed.
It was rushed, and they should have another 3 to 4 months of development.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think maybe.
That's what I think.
I mean, like, here's the thing: if Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes out and it has all the shit that was missing in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'm gonna say, okay, it was rushed. If it comes out and you have a similar level of shit that should be there isn't there, that was on the original and on the the Wii U, then I'm gonna say it's because the Switch just isn't capable of it. Um, but that's my own personal opinion, and I could be wrong because I am human, and humans couldn't be wrong. It's the nature of humanity. But at this point, I'm just kind of, kind of underwhelmed. Yeah, I'm holding. I mean, it brought a little smile to my face because I do like Xenoblade Chronicles. I like the series. I say this thus far, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is my least favorite because of the oversimplified combat and the lack of certain features that were in previous iterations of the series. But I mean, hopefully this one will be good. Maybe, but I'm not like all ecstatic with joy like I was with the first game. I mean the second game, or Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I love. I still love that game. That game's really good. Your guys' thoughts? Yay, nay, agree, disagree?
I thought it looked pretty good, but I'm gonna have to see more of it to make
I'm
a final decision.
I'm kind of on this one. Wait to see gameplay, but it's pretty neat to see that Xenoblade is coming to a third round.
Well, I mean, I figured it was close to release just because they already had English voice acting. I didn't think it would be this close.
Yeah,
but they might delay it. You know how these big RPGs go.
I would rather them delay it and have it run well than have it just be brought out and it be a steaming pile of dog dookie.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather them delay Xenoblade 3 and have it run well than have it just be like running like shit. Because like I said, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does not run well on the Switch. So like that's why I'm kind of like I don't really trust this. Like people, like I'm seeing people, oh, it looks great. I'm like, look, hold your horses. Okay. Because
Fill your cart and hold your horses.
Yeah, hold up. Don't start getting all involved in the shit now because we don't know what's gonna happen. But that's my own personal opinion. So that brings us to
Finish line.
Yeah, to the finish line. So I guess we can give our overall thoughts. That was everything they announced. Who wants to go first? Who wants to give their overall thoughts first?
I'll go first.
No. Let Kadoshi go first, and then you can go, and then I'll go last.
All right. So
I was gonna say,
since this is first half of the year direct, and there was at least three things that I wanted to, 3 things I got out of the direct. I'll probably give it an A. I thought Mario Strikers looked interesting. Can't wait to see more Xenoblade Chronicles. Kirby looked interesting, even though it has that weird transformation mechanic. That looked fun to play. See. Now, there were at least 3 good things that I saw. If this was like E3 or E3-esque, where all the companies show all the stuff that's coming out during the holidays and a little beyond, I'd probably give it a B or a C, more like a C. So that's my overall thoughts.
Okay, that's fair. Joel.
This is something I'm going to be feeling mixed on. So, if anything, there was plenty of good. There was some weird, but one bad really sunk the ship. Thank you, Mario Kart 8.
What, you don't want to pay $50 a year to rent DLC?
F you on that one. And you know it.
I mean, can't you tell I'm being facetious? Can't you tell I'm being facetious?
Facetious or not,
I'm allowed
facetious
to
or
be.
not,
I'm allowed to be facetious
I'm the one that
because
actually has a headache of that one.
look, it wasn't your choice. You had nothing to do with it. They're the ones who did that alienating thing where they're like, "Yeah, you're basically paying $50 to rent DLC, or you
Yeah.
can pay $25 to own it." It's like,
Yeah, but I'm saying that you're rubbing it in like salt.
no, I'm not rubbing it in. That's what. Look, Nintendo's rubbing it in because they're doing it. I mean, I didn't have shit. I'm the one who said when Nintendo started this online subscription shit, I said this is not good. This is going to lead to some bullshit. Everyone was like, no, it's not gonna, it's not gonna be a problem. Not you, Joel, but other people that used to be on this cast a lot. Yeah, no, it's not gonna be a problem. Yeah, I'm like, okay.
I mean, the problem is that there are game subscriptions out there that are doing
worse,
giving you way more.
Yeah, that's true.
Way more and of course, yeah, there's some that are worse. But I mean, there's stuff not pertaining to consoles. There's stuff like Game Pass, which gives you a lot more than what Nintendo's offering.
Yeah. Right now. I mean, this isn't a game service, but Amazon Prime through Twitch Prime basically gives you free, like every month I get like 5 to 8 free games. And some of them, a lot of them are like on par with like Games for Gold when it was like, these are some old ass good games. But some games are like, oh, this is some really nice shit. And it's like, it's a much better deal. I mean, it's just like, And I know Nintendo doesn't have the same resources of an Amazon or a Microsoft in terms of like the type of partnerships they can levy and the type of games that they can put on there. And it's not as easy to license content like it was 2 gens ago. I understand that, but I also don't think it's cool to like take advantage of their consumer base like they kind of are with some of their pricing practices. But that's just me. Every to each his own. But what's your overall? I mean, aside from Mario Kart 8 kind of sinking the ship a little bit, shatting the bed.
Yeah, for me, I say mixed with light positives.
All right. Okay. That's harsher than I was expecting. I thought you'd either be like all in or all out or like more positive, but okay, fair enough. Ironically, I'm going to be in the between both of you guys, despite my complaints. I think the stuff Nintendo announced, I'm kind of like, this is puzzling. Aside from 1 or 2 announcements, I thought most of what Nintendo announced during this direct was kind of like, that's just weird. Like it's weird that they're just now doing a Wii Sports revival. It's weird that just now, like they're adding new karts to Mario Kart 8. Because I mean,
don't you mean courses? But still.
See, well, I mean, those are tracks. Like if it's a racing game and it's a course, that's track. Same thing. They're adding new tracks now. Like this is one of their highest selling games of the last gen and this gen, and you're just now adding new tracks. I mean, they already basically, if you owned Mario Kart 8 for the Wii or for the Wii U and you bought it for the Switch, you basically paid $60 for the battle mode. You pay it's a $60 DLC basically, and then they're like, bend over, let me stick it up there for $25 for some extra tracks. I kind of, but aside from some of the puzzling things Nintendo did, there's also some really good things that third parties are doing, especially Square Enix. I know I'm kind of pissed off about the whole, Kingdom Hearts thing. The Kingdom Hearts trilogy being cloud based.
I was gonna say, I thought you were pissed off at both Kingdom Hearts and Chrono Cross.
Well, I don't like Chrono Cross, but I mean, like, here's the thing: I don't like Chrono Cross, but there are people who like it, and I'm happy for them. And plus, you are getting Radical Dreamers, which was never brought to America. So if you want to play that game, you basically have to download a ROM of it. You can't play it, you know, physically. So now people have that option. So even though, like, just because I don't like something doesn't mean I don't recognize there's an audience for it. There is an audience for Chrono Cross. Kingdom Hearts 3, just you know, I know there's fans of Kingdom Hearts 3, but anyone who really wants Kingdom Hearts 3 already bought Kingdom Hearts 3 on PC or another platform. Like, it's just kind of weird that they're just now bringing it to the Switch.
And,
so that's kind of
you know
weird.
the worst. So you know the worst part about this is
No.
the Kingdom Hearts fans are gonna say, "Fine." I mean, the Kingdom Hearts fan that wanted it on Nintendo will have the right to say, "Finally, we got Kingdom Hearts."
Yeah, but you don't, though. You're streaming it. And once those servers are pulled or have an accident or, you know, something like that, you don't have access to your game. Like, you don't even have the option to download the games. You know, it's just kind of like, do you want to not have, like, you have, like, you don't even, like, this isn't even something where, like, if you download something, you get a digital copy of the game. You have access to that digital copy as long as it's available. Like, once the servers are down, you don't have any access to that game that you spent $60 on. That's just that's asinine.
Yeah, that's the thing. If anything, I thought at least they'd be at least bold enough or kind enough to at least put one or two of the Kingdom Hearts games onto the physical media, but no, all three are cloud based.
Yep. So I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I don't really feel all that strongly about it. But I'm not, you know. So yeah.
This is from somebody that actually played Kingdom Hearts.
I mean, I've played the Kingdom Hearts. I just don't think they're very good. Like, it's the story is trash. The character designs I find to be kind of trash.
I was gonna say I agree with you on the story. I agree with you on how some character designs are, or some, but if anything, the gameplay at least has at least some mindless fun that you do not get from Dynasty Warriors.
I find the story to be kind of
confusing. Is how I would put it lightly.
No, I find the story to be kind of just stupid, and I find the combat to be overly simplistic. You know, it wants to be.
I was about to say that the combat for the game, I feel that is kind of at least a tier above Dynasty Warriors. At least,
I mean, it is. But I mean, the problem with Kingdom Hearts is that the combat is a tier above Dynasty Warriors. But I'm pretty sure a brain dead person could play Dynasty Warriors. Like, that's not a high mark. That's not a high, like, Dynasty Warriors has very repetitive, simplistic combat. Kingdom Hearts is a little bit more complex than that, but it's still, like, really, really kind of like it, you know, it's like God of War. It's like the God of War. It's like God of War, except with a cutesy aesthetic in terms of the combat. Like, once you memorize 3 or 4 combos in Kingdom Hearts, you kind of know how to play it. Like, and basically, after a certain point, you're just upgrading your stats and equipment. But once you master 3, 4, maybe 5 combos, you can beat the game. You know, it's. I've never really been that into. You know, I don't like Tetsuya Nomura. I don't like his. I think he's a fucking hack. But that's my own personal opinion.
I was gonna say, at least we could both agree that Kingdom Hearts storyline is effed as ever.
Well, it never was good. It never was supposed to be good. They just took a whole bunch of Final Fantasy tropes and painted it into and used Disney and put it in a Disney setting. But anyway, my overall thing is, you know, I'm not going to give it a grade. I would put it overall as basic. It was average. You know, if I had to give it a letter grade, I'd give it a C. There was good things in there.
That's kind of near Kenoshi's there.
No, Kenoshi gave it a positive review. It gave it an A. I'm giving it a C. I can't give it a B because Nintendo had too much stuff where I was like, why the fuck would you do that?
That's
Stuff going in that dragged it
that's
down.
funny because I thought you were between me and him.
Yeah, but
If anything,
it felt like you gave him like a C minus, a D plus. I because of the whole Mario Kart thing. But I'm giving him a C. I think that ironically enough, even though a lot of times when we do directs, we're like third parties suck and third parties can't do this. The third parties uplifted this because Mario Strikers looked great. Initially I was like, I'm very excited about a new Wii Sports, but why the fuck are you doing it now? Why now? Like, doing Wii Sports now is like someone saying, hey, I'm going to go to college, but I've been a D and C student, and now my senior year, now I'm going to buckle down really hard and get A's. It's too late now. Shit. The magic is gone.
You're going to need a GPA. I was going to make the comment that you need a GPA in the triple digits in order to get in with.
Yeah, it's not going to happen level. Because you haven't created the habits. Yeah, you haven't created the habits in order to be a studious student, to be a good student. So even if you do get good grades, it's not really going to do much for you. They get a C for me. I don't think. I'm not saying that it's the worst. I'm just saying that it wasn't, it could have been better. It could have been better. It could have been better.
Okay. If anything, without the Mario Kart 8, the direct would probably be a solid C or close to a C plus. But with it, oh brother.
Yeah, that drags it down. Yeah, the Mario Kart 8, where they're basically trying to trick people into renting content for $50 a year. Because think about it. Okay, let's say
it doesn't make any sense that you would make buying it outright cheaper than a subscription. I mean, it's
and you're renting it.
You get the N64 games.
You're renting it that run poorly.
But still,
you get the N64 games that run that are emulated worse than they were on the Wii U and the Wii.
The fact that you could probably play, the fact that you could emulate those games better on a computer.
No, I'm not comparing this to a computer. I'm comparing this to what they did before. Literally, they are emulating a lot of those games worse than they were on the Wii and the Wii U. That's embarrassing.
I'm saying that you could probably emulate this on not even a higher end computer, but just
and you know what the worst part is that to me,
mid-range computer, which is pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're charging people $50 for it, which is even. I'm like, how the fuck are you going to charge people to emulate something that you emulated better 2 gens ago? What the fuck is up with that?
And Red, here's the the worst part for me, Red, is that I actually ignore the games that are being brought to you from other systems. I try to make the value of what they're offering me that I can get on the Switch itself.
No, I can understand that.
And that's only 2 things, and both of them, they could have been plucked off the $50 price charge and be basically what you get with the 20, if anything. That's
it's basically they're charging you for an inferior service, and that's where I have a problem. Like, why the fuck are you charging me? Why are you charging people this much money for something that is demonstrably worse than even what they had before? It's like, it'd be one thing if it's like, okay, this runs poorly, but there's an internal emulator on the Switch, and you can basically pay X amount of dollars and play these games. You can download them and play them on your Switch. I'd be okay with that. But you're going to charge people to $50 for badly emulated games?
Yeah, that's the thing. If anything, I try to ignore the emulation games because if anything, those are things that I could do on something else that that could actually run it better, or at the very least run it without having a big problem.
Well,
Which
I
means
mean,
that only thing that catch my attention, which kind of bites me in the rear end a lot harder, is what they're doing with Animal Crossing and now Mario Kart 8.
yeah. So for me, it's just kind of like how they did that. I was kind of like, I can't really like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want about paying 19.99, but paying $50 for for basically, in my sense, only two rentals. I mean, two games with rental features. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
you're renting the content. You don't own it. So like let's say you switch credit cards. Or well, for me, my Nintendo Switch online is attached to my credit card. So let's say you switch credit cards. So and you like for some reason you forget to update your payment information. So you essentially don't have access to shit because you don't own it. You're renting it.
yeah, that's the thing
I don't like that.
that already bugs me enough.
I don't
Yeah,
I
it
don't like
bugs me
that.
enough. It's a As I said, it bugs me enough that I have to work with some stuff at $20 with Nintendo, which is a mixed bag overall, especially with the quality of how they run. But when some of that when you give me upcharges of when you upcharge me $30 for renting two things that one I don't own, or two is something that should have been with the base game itself in a sense,
Yeah.
or at least be off the should be with the free service. I mean, with the normal paid service instead. That kind of bites me really hard. That makes me glad I am not even to add extra cash into their wallets than I already do.
Yeah, it's kind of scummy. It's really fucking kind of scummy, and I don't like it. But that's my own personal opinion. But anyway, anything else you guys want to bring up pertaining to the direct before we move on to the next?
Do we
You know,
have any topics left?
I mean, you guys might have something else you want to mention. Kenoshi, you have anything else you want to mention?
No, I'm good.
All right. Um. Okay. Let's see what else. Blah 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 blah. I mean, like I said, the direct didn't knock my socks off. But it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. Really, I mean, ironically, if you took all the third party announcements that surprised me out of this and just had Nintendo shit, it would be much lower because like Nintendo was like Nintendo. Like anyone remember that Treehouse of Horror with the evil doll with Homer, where he goes to buy the evil Krusty doll, and like the guy's trying to sell him on it, and he's like, yeah, but you can have this, but it's evil. He's like, oh no, it's like he'd wind him up and then tell him it's evil. He's like, but you can have a free frozen yogurt. We call it Frogurt, but it's evil. No, but it's filled with potassium benzoate and other additives. He's like, stuff like that. It's like everything Nintendo announced, almost everything, all their big stuff. It's like, yeah, this is really awesome, but it's evil. It's like, come on, man, don't do that. So yeah, that's the end of the cast. Anything you guys want to hype up before we wrap things up?
Right now, I think we're gonna need a moment to get rid of the Nintendo hype that happened today. But otherwise, I think this is where we could close out.
What Nintendo hype? I don't have any
How
hype.
about you, Kenoshi?
Kenoshi.
Or at least the quote unquote hype.
I don't have hype. I don't have Nintendo hype anymore. I used to, but now I'm like,
Yeah,
it's a company.
I'm kind of Yeah, it's a company. Yeah,
It's a company. They've made some of my favorite games, but they're kind of fucking up now. So I'm kind of like, okay, it might be good, it might not be good. I'm not gonna.
A lot of it for me is when I when I was finally able to afford a decent PC. I just it's got to the point where it's like, oh, the Nintendo games are still good, but yeah, a lot of those games I can play on PC and they run and look a lot better. I don't know what to tell you guys.
I mean, it's not the worst, but it's just like I'm kind of just like, come
Honestly,
on, man.
Honestly, that just goes for all the consoles. It's not just the Nintendo consoles. It's like
I
the
mean,
Xbox and even the PlayStation.
I mean, what kind of got me was just like when Nintendo started doing some of their business practices, where I'm just like, this is not consumer friendly. And for the longest time, Nintendo was very consumer friendly. You know, Nintendo used to be very consumer friendly, and now under this new guy, they are just like they're doing really shady shit. Not as much as say an EA or an Activision or a Ubisoft or a Microsoft or a Sony, but it's like this is just kind of scummy for Nintendo. You know, it's kind of scummy. So.
Yeah, old Japan, old man Nintendo might be back.
Well, I mean, the shit that they're doing is shit that even Yamauchi wouldn't have done. Like,
Yeah,
they're doing some shit where I'm just like, this is just kind of scummy. I don't really feel comfortable supporting this.
I don't know. I think they pay. You know that partnership they have with DNA, or is it DNA?
Yeah, DNA.
So you know they paid for a lot of the infrastructure, and they're trying to get. It's either that or they want to appease. I've heard they also want to appease third parties by charging people online because a lot of the infrastructure um, for these games pertaining to online on, let's say, like Microsoft and Sony's platform is paid through for the paid for through the subscription, so the third parties get a cut of the online subscription stuff.
I mean, that may be the case, but that's not my fucking problem as a consumer. Like, these companies are like, well, how are we going to pay? Look, okay, I'm a business owner. It's not my customers' concern that I can't afford certain shit because I don't know how to budget properly. You know?
Exactly.
Like, I shouldn't be fucking over my consumers so that I can turn a profit.
Yeah.
Just to say, oh, well, I didn't properly. No, you got to eat that shit.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why, you know, everyone's like, oh, well, you know, they gotta, and I think because the Switch has been selling gangbusters, the software on the Switch has been selling gangbusters, Nintendo has made a lot of money. There is no need for them to be doing all this shit, other than they're just being greedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there might be, there's a case to be made with that.
So, but anyway, that's my own personal opinion. That's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. You can catch Kenoshi Abominito's Project Console cast every Tuesday, 7:30 to 9. You can also catch my cast, the BS Busters. We have it twice a week, Wednesday and Saturday, 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, and...
Hype response.
Hype responsibly and arrivederci.